Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and welcome back to another review for the John Candy Marathon. And this time it's a personal favorite of mine, Summer Rental from 1985, directed by Carl Reiner, who I believe did The Jerk with Steve Martin. Now I had a review for this from back in the day, but I deleted it because I just didn't care for that review. I thought I could do better with it. And a John Candy Marathon was the perfect chance to re-review this. I believe this was the first John Candy film I ever saw. It was definitely the one I saw the most. It was this, and Planes, Trains, Automobiles was a little bit later. And then, honestly, films like Nothing But Trouble. But I believe this was the first. It was the one I watched the most. And I think that's why this is my personal favorite John Candy flick. Now, granted, I could technically say there are better films with John Candy in it. Like, I would put Stripes above it. I would put Planes, Trains, and Automobiles above it. It's going to be a weird way of putting it. Even though I would put those films above it, I would still say this is my favorite John Candy film because it's John Candy. Everything's on his shoulders on a comedic level. Stripes, he's the supporting player. It's Bill Murray and Harold Ramis and Warren Oates and such. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, it's him, but it's Steve Martin as well. And that's more dramatic as well as comedic, which is what makes that film so great. But as a purely comedy aspect, this is more comedy, and John Candy, I think, carries the film by himself on his shoulders. The film's on his shoulders, and I think he pulls it off very well. And people can chalk it up to nostalgia reasons, can chalk it up to the reasons I said I'm going to say, but this is a personal favorite of mine. I grew up with this film. The score by Alan Silvestri, same guy who would do music for Back to the Future and Predator, does a great job on this. Whenever I hear the score, it makes me think of summer. You have a great song that shows up in the third act of the film, and at the end of the film, Jimmy Buffett, turning around. I'm, I can't sing, so. But Turning Around by Jimmy Buffett, great song. Richard Crenna from the first three Rambo films, that movie Leviathan. He does a great job as the villain. Rip Torn does a good job supporting wise. The family, John Candy's family, they're not annoying. The little kid is played by Joey Lawrence, who would go on to TV shows and other movies, including a very underrated one from the 80s that I reviewed called Pulse, which I believe is actually coming out on Blu-ray by Mill Creek Entertainment. But the 80s, not the newer Pulse, there's an 80s one about killer electricity. As silly as that sounds, I still love the movie Pulse. I don't know when the hell I reviewed that, years ago. But anyway, he's in this as the son. But yeah, there's an older daughter and there's a young, very little girl daughter. And the wife, I believe that's Karen Austin. Could be wrong. They all do a great job. They're not annoying, they're not irritating. But it's John Candy's show. He plays an overworked air traffic controller, and he has a bad day at work, and he's forced into vacation, and him and his family go to Florida to have a vacation, which leads a lot of crazy shit happens. They're on this place that's near the beach, and it ends with them teaming up with Rip Torn and his crew of this restaurant called the Barnacle, which is also a ship. There's a ship. What you call it, a ship race or a boat race or I forget the actual terminology, a sailboat race with Richard Crenna and some others, and I'll get to why that is. But it's a very short film. It's like an hour and 25 minutes. It goes by a very fast pace. John Candy is my favorite performance from his because it's, I think, one of his more underrated, because no one really talks about Summer Rental. Like, they'll bring up Planes, Trains, Automobiles, which is great, and they'll bring up Uncle Buck, which is great. But no one really talks about Summer Rental. But I think when it came out, it did fairly decent box office. Yeah, Carl Reiner did a good job directing. Apparently, Carl Reiner and John Candy enjoyed working together. They wanted to do another film together, but it just didn't work out. I thought the family had a good chemistry with each other. Uh, the beginning of the film, I always remember ever since I was a kid. Alan Silvestri's dun, 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 which I'm doing a shitty job rendition of it. And this is actually pretty well written by Jeremy Stevens and Mark Reisman. I thought the script worked well for what it had to do. But at the beginning, where John Candy's going to work and the wife comes out, "You stop, or I'll shoot." And John Candy sees her, "Oh, go away, I'm late. Come on, I gotta give you some food. Is that coffee? No, you can't have coffee. Oh, man, I want coffee. I need coffee." And the kid, like, gives him some eggs. And, okay, what do you have? I have spaghetti and one egg. Okay, you know what? Wait on the spaghetti, give me another egg. So John Candy's driving to work, he's got the eggs, and one he's pounding, it's hard boiled. He's like, "Oh man, you're supposed to put them in cold water," and he eats it, he takes the other, hits it, and it just goes everywhere. It's, "Ah, my fault, my fault. Sure told him to hard boil the other egg." He gets the word, some asshole parts too close, and John Candy's trying to call to him. He's like, "Well, what am I supposed to do? Wait here all day?" And then as he's coming to work, "Man, you know, I'm gonna corner him and I'm gonna strangle him." And he's an air traffic controller. He has a bad day. There's one moment where he loses a plane. "Where are you?" And the guy, his superior comes up and says, "Hey, there's a fly there," and a fly was covering the dot of the plane. And John Candy's like, "Oh, I hate flies," and that's where he's forced into vacation so that he doesn't get fired. And John Candy is the reason why I love this film so much. He's hilarious. I mean, whether it's they get to their place and the dog's barking at the neighbors and John Candy goes, "Archie, you get your ass up here right now." Um, Watching his kids go out on the beach, and actually you have some music. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, is actually playing on one of the headphones. I guess because this is Paramount, so they were able to get that music. So watching it, holy shit, Axel Foley's music is playing. And John Candy falls asleep and he gets fucking sunburned all over. There's a moment where he's trying to get his family at this seafood place in Lobster, and they're waiting there for hours. And Richard Crenna, the dick, him and everyone, his cronies, go in front of them. And even John Candy goes, "Wait a minute, I thought you didn't have reservations." "Well, we don't, except for that guy." He cuts ahead and takes all their lobsters. And of course, John Candy gets pissed. Like, "This is bullshit. This is unfair." It's like, "Hey, wait a minute, this is our lobsters." And Richard Crenna, I miss Richard Crenna. He's a great actor. He was in Leviathan, the first three Rambo films, and Hot Shots Part 2, and a lot of movies. He does a great job. And he goes to the spiel of, "Oh, these are your lobsters, huh?" And he pushes his own wife and is like, "This is your wife? This is your belt? These are your shorts?" As someone tries to talk to him, he goes, "Ta ta 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 ta." Just see Richard Crenna have fun and do something like, "Ta ta 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 ta." This makes me laugh and miss the guy more. And so John Candy and his family leave, and they go to this smaller place called the Barnacle, where you have Rip Torn. And Rip Torn, he was in Men in Black 1 and 2. And as I'm doing this, January 22nd, 2017, Rip Torn is alive. I say that because the last time I did the review, for some reason I thought Rip Torn had died, and I had like 5 people tell me, "Oh, by the way, he's alive." And it was because, stupidly, I watched Men in Black 3, and I'm like, "Oh, Rip Torn's character died. I guess he's not in it because he died." And it's like, no, it's because he got arrested and in trouble with the law. If I had looked up and done research, I would have known that. So, at least as of now, he's up there, but as of January 22nd, 2017, which is when I'm recording this, he's alive. And he does a good job. I like Rip Torn. He's a good actor. And he's like, what do you want? Oh, how about the catch of the day? And really, they're just fish sticks. John Candy has good rapport with the actress who plays his wife. One night, he got very, very heavily sunburned. He's got all this stuff, like Noxzema on his face. And he answers the door. It's another group of it's a family out there. And Johnny's like, what are you doing here? This is our house. Oh, this isn't your house. You know, we're at Baba Beach Road. Well, this is Beach Lane. And the look on John Candy's face, the realization that his family are in the wrong fucking house. And John Candy's deadpan look just makes me laugh my ass off. He's like, ah, I guess this is yours, you're right. And he gets his family out and he trips and drops all the fucking dog food. And he's got to get out of there. And the real place that they're at is a shithole. There's construction nearby, people sawing nearby. There's this one kid looking through the window, picking his nose, and John Candy, he gets a fly swatter. That's why I had this. I remember this scene, and he's like, just slaps her right against the fucking window to scare the kid away. And he just sees all these lines of people going by the window, and he's like, what's this? What is this? And he goes outside. What are you guys doing here? And a guy just burps and points the way, and it's a public beach. And all John Candy can do is, well, I'm Joe Public. Welcome to my beach. And just a lot of fun moments throughout the flick. Yeah. For example, you have these lifeguards that live near them, and I didn't remember this, but one of the lifeguards, until I saw it now, lifeguards passed by, and one of them actually told John Candy, hey, that guy looks like John Madden. Which I didn't think of it, but I can see that now. I'm like, hey, that guy looks like John Madden. I don't know, for some reason, John Madden football. I never thought of that, but it just made me laugh my ass off when I heard that. And he's going to the beach, and pretty much this here, where his cooler is leaking and is going all over, going on people, this cold water, and this little grill that these people have, and ruin everybody's stuff. Leaking all over, gets to his family. His son throws a frisbee and it hits his balls, and all John Candy can do is, oh, say, can you see? And you have the scene where he's playing volleyball, frisbee with his kid, and the frisbee's called Whammo, and it lands on a couple, and John Candy tries to grab it, but the couple rolls on his hand, and the guy's like, buddy, what are you doing? And he's like, your wife is on my Whammo. That's okay, keep it, just send it back to me later. And he plays volleyball, and ultimately he gets to sail a boat with his son. And Richard Crenna's a dick, and Richard Crenna doesn't follow protocols because he thinks he's top shit, and which leads to John Candy hitting Richard Crenna's boat. And even John Candy goes, you're the one that's supposed to move, you dipshit. But it hurts his knee. And pretty much, he has to stay at the house while his family goes out and have fun. Like his family go out to the movies, and in the back is a poster for Uncommon Valor, my favorite film on the year I was born, 1983, a very criminally underrated movie with Gene Hackman, Uncommon Valor, and there's a fucking poster of it while they're at the movies. There's like that and Footloose. And I forgot John Larroquette is in this. John Larroquette, who is the narrator at the beginning of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was on the TV show Night Court. He was in Stripes. I forgot he was in this, and it's because he really doesn't have much of a part. He just comes in and helps pay for the tickets because she doesn't have the money for the tickets. She left it at home. So John Larroquette has a teenage son, and he pays for the tickets. And I have to wonder if maybe some stuff was cut out that dealt more with John Larroquette's character, because he only pops up like 2 or 3 times in the background with like no dialogue. I'm like, I don't know if it was just John Larroquette wasn't a big name, so I was like, hey, he's just another guy, or there was stuff shot with him and it was cut out. I don't know what the deal is. But you have this funny scene where John Candy's trying to watch golf on TV, and it's all fuzzy, and the dog wants in because it's raining. So he lets the dog in, but the dog's whining because the bone's outside. That John Candy's like, "You don't get your bone. I'm not getting your bone. Fine, I'll get your bone." And as he gets it, the dog closes the door and it locks. He's like, "Archie, open the door. Get out of my chair." Oh, of course, the TV clears up for you. And he's watching the TV from outside. And he's got the bone. He's like, he missed. And he bites the bone. He's like, "Phew, Archie, I don't make you into a rug. Stop eating my popcorn." Another fun bit is he's outside and this woman comes by and shows him her tits. You don't see the tits because this is PG, but you get the idea. And Candy's like, they're nice. And she goes, "Oh, I just got them." And John Candy goes, "Well, who had them before you?" And the husband comes in, and I thought it was funny. Like, the husband's not mad because she does this to everybody. The husband asked John Candy, "Did you tell her that they're perfect?" And John Candy goes, "Yeah, they're great. They're perfect. See, you don't have to keep showing them to everybody." And then John Candy's like, "This is awkward. I'm leaving." "Oh, those are $2,000, huh? Yeah, that's a hey, Christmas is around the corner, and that's a great idea. Yeah, those are fun for the whole family." um, And then like there's these people in his house because he left for a little bit, and all these people are like, there's like a guy cooking in his kitchen, and a guy on his phone, and he takes his crutch. He's like, "Get out!" Hit him on the fridge. "Get out! Get off the phone!" And there's like this asshole on his bed watching the Smurfs, and he's like, "Get out of here, buddy! I'm watching the Smurfs." And John Kane's like, "Oh yeah, you watching the Smurfs, huh? You see the one where Papa Smurf took a crutch and smacked the shit out of a guy with a red hat? Did you see that one? You want to see that one?" Uh, that's easily one of the funniest moments in the movie to me. You know, "Yeah, you like the Smurfs? You see the one where Papa Smurf smacked the shit out of a guy with a crutch with a red hat? You see that one?" He does Drug with Rip Torn. You have this fun bit where they're playing darts and they're drunk, and Rip Torn has a hook, and there's like a dart in his arm. He's like, "Who did that one?" And John Candy's like, "Blue, that's one of yours." And Rip Torn's like, "Huh, I win." And Rip Torn shows John Candy a little bit about sailing. Even gets to a point where they're singing the Love Boat. And then pretty much at the third act, Richard Crenna screws up their vacation, saying, "You gotta leave in a few days. Doesn't matter that you have 2 weeks left. I'm the new landlord, and I don't want you guys here because I don't like you." And John Candy makes a bet. "If I can beat you in your sailboat race, we get to be here 2 weeks for free. If not, we leave, and I give you the rent money for those 2 weeks." And like they both eat popcorn to sort of cinch the bet, and they both start choking on the popcorn. And yeah, I will admit, I mean, the sailboat racing is not the most exciting event, but maybe because I grew up with the film, maybe because I like the characters, maybe because I had some sweet moments with the family, like the older teenage daughter talking about how, she talking with her dad, and she tells John Candy, "But you like to win one, right?" And John Candy goes, "Yeah, one would be nice." And then later on, she's trying to pep up her dad. "Hey, maybe this can be the one." And his family helps out, and they're building, and they're fixing, and they're painting the barnacle. And yeah, that song "Turning Around" by Jimmy Buffett, it seemed pretty sweet. Like the family connecting with each other. And then you have the race, and it's like the last 10 minutes of the movie. Well, I can't say 10 minutes because I gotta factor in the end credits. So, 5 to 7 minutes. And again, yeah, the sailboat race is not the most exciting, but it was what it was, and it was a little bit different from usual. And I've seen a John Candy film do it worse, and that's Hot to Trot, which ended with a race, only with a horse. And that's the one where John Candy's the voice of the horse, and that's a piece of shit, which I'll get to. But this one weird moment is the little girl. Throughout the rest of the film, she sounds normal, but there's one moment where she says, like, "Hey, can I play in the basement with," I forget the guy's name, like this old guy with a big beard. "Can I play in the basement with Yoku or Yoker or whatever the hell the guy's name is?" And that one scene, the little girl is dubbed. I'm like, am I watching an Italian film for a minute? Like one of those, what the hell happened? Did a 30-year-old voice this one line? It was a bit weird. I never really understood it, but I mean, that was kind of weird. But John Candy wins the race with his family. They beat Richard Crenna, part of it by using his knowledge of planes because he sees a plane doing something and he knows what that is and factors in the wind, as well as using his own pants for a little help with the extra sails, extra sail for the wind. And I even like the way the end credits rolled, where, like I said, I love that song by Jimmy Buffett, but the wife character took pictures throughout the film, and it was just someone putting up pictures of the characters and events throughout the film. And I thought that was simple but interesting to do for the end credits. I always liked that little touch. And that was always something I remember when I was a kid. I always remember those end credits. And it's one of those films I think that if people were to ask me, what's a film to show you what John Candy can do? If you ask me that he's funny but can also do drama, watch a film like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But if you want to say John Candy be very funny and warm-hearted and purely a comedy, I would say Summer Rental. He's hilarious. It's easy to watch. It's, I think, fast-paced. Alan Silvestri does a good job on the score. Fun, funny, harmless, good cast, likable characters, breezy pace, fun song by Jimmy Buffett. I love this movie. I love this movie to death. I I have it made me smile a lot watching this, and it really made me miss John Candy because this is what introduced me to John Candy. And when I was watching those end credits, it really made me wish John Candy was still around. Not just so I could see more movies from him, but he just, I really liked his character in the movie, and I really liked him in the movie, and he just seemed like a really nice guy in real life. And I know there's going to be other films like Planes, Trains, Automobiles. It's going to do the same thing to me, but it's just, this movie made me smile so many times throughout my life. And it's not like I'm saying it's one of my favorite films of all time, but this is a film I remember a lot from my childhood, and I could pop in today and still laugh and smile and have a lot of fun with. So, yeah, that's Summer Rental. No features, just a trailer. Always going to be a personal favorite of mine, especially in the John Candy and his filmography. But thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.